Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of Video Dead, where we take a look at non horror themed songs with surprising horror themed videos. I'm Candace with Death by Stereo podcast, and whether you're joining us on YouTube or listening to us by the way of podcast, I want to welcome you to the Madhouse. Today, we're going to take a look at Tom Petty's 1993 hit, Mary Jane's Last Dance. But before we begin, I want to go ahead and take the time to introduce my first guest, my husband, Chris, or better known as Crater. Hey, Chris. Are you ready for this one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love some Tom Petty, so always.
Yeah, and this one you've seen. I know the last one you didn't see, but...
Yeah, I've seen this one before. Maybe just a few times, but I know the song very well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, before we get into it, I'm going to go ahead and welcome our very special guest, our friend Dana, or better known as Evil Dead Chick. So I'm going to go ahead and add her to the stage. Hey, Dana.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Dana.
You got to join us on this one.
I was going to say, I love this one. I always have loved the song and the video. Of course, I'll get more into it in a little bit, but I love the video too, as well. And I refreshed myself before we came on here just so I didn't forget anything too.
Yeah, Chris is trying to talk me into doing the other Tom Petty video, the one that I'm kind of.
It's my favorite Tom Petty video.
Yeah, just for those listening or watching, there's a Tom Petty video that is just really. I was scared of it as a kid, and I still am kind of scared of it. Not really scared. It's just something within me doesn't like it. It's eerie to me, I guess.
It is creepy. The video that you're referring to is creepy, but I think that's why I like it. Yeah, so
I may just do it. Dana, would you want to join us for that one as well? If I did it,
sure.
Okay, it might be a little hard for me, but I'll do it. So if you guys see another Tom Petty video appear, then that's the song that I'm talking about. But I just want to talk a little bit about the video, like what album it was on and all that stuff before we start. Just give the listener, the viewer, a little background on it. So, Mary Jane's Last Dance is a song written by Tom Petty, and he performed it with the Heartbreakers, which I love him with the Heartbreakers, and produced by Rick Rubin. And everybody knows Rick Rubin from like the Beastie Boys and I think Metallica and Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think Audio Slave, he was the producer of their albums. So many.
Seen it all, done it all.
Yeah, and I think he was like really big, like in hip hop, like bringing a lot of new artists and stuff that way. But the song was released in 93 as part of their greatest hits album, and it topped the US Billboard Hot 100 charts at number 14, so that's pretty good. And it like marked Petty's first Billboard top 20 hit of the 90s, which I'm sure he had a ton of them. I mean, Tom Petty was cranking them out later. I love Tom Petty. I mean, that greatest hits album that this come on, that was one of my albums I listened to all the time growing up. I mean, we had the cassette tape of it, and it never left our car stereo.
Yeah, I love Tom Petty more so because not outside of his music career, because me and Candace, and I know Dana is too, big fans of King of the Hill, and Tom Petty was the voice of Lucky, Luann's boyfriend on King of the Hill.
King of the Hill is my favorite animation of all time. I love it. So I've actually I've thought about getting like a tattoo of Lucky, but like in his Tom Petty, like with the guitar and stuff that he played, and
that would
angel wings. So I don't know. That might be something I do.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I thought, it sounds good in my head, but who knows what it would look like if I tried to do it out. But does everybody have their stuff pulled up? Chris, do you need time to pull up your video?
No, I got it pulled up here on my second phone. So I'm good to go.
So just to remind the viewer, the listener, how we do this, it's like a watch along, and I will provide the link to the actual video that we're using is from Tom Petty's. I think it's his Vivo.
Yeah, it is on his Vivo channel on YouTube.
So I'll provide that in the link in the description box below. What you do is you just take another device or another tab on your computer, you pull it up, we'll do a countdown. And, for obvious reasons, we're not going to be playing the audio and stuff on here because, for copyright reasons. But you can listen to it at home while we do our commentary over it. And I hope that you enjoy it. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do the countdown at 5, 4, 3, 2, push play. So right off the bat, you see stuff that is very strange. It's like a morgue. So you see stiffs, not to be disrespectful, but so you're thinking, okay. And then it shows Tom Petty, who looks like one, but he's very much well alive. So to me, right off the bat, this gives a eerie feeling, like that this is just something's not good here. So Tom Petty is like an assistant to the I guess the mortician or whatever you call the person that takes care of dead bodies and all that stuff. And he finds this very beautiful woman in a body bag. And it's Kim Basinger. Is that how you say her name? Am I saying
Basinger? I don't know. I'm not sure. Usually what I do whenever I'm not sure I pronounce someone's name, I go and watch like an interview with them or something and just see how
that's a good way of doing it. Yeah. But he's caressing her body. So right off the bat, you're like, okay, this is not right. He takes her and puts her on a what do you call those things? Like a cart that you push people around.
I don't really know what I call them hospital beds.
Yeah. Are they called gurneys?
Gurneys, that's it,
Dana.
Yeah,
thank you, Dana.
Whenever he was hauling her out of there, the mortician or whatever they call, the person that does that stuff, he's looking at Tom Petty like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Didn't you think like he's done it before too?
Yeah, that's what I always thought is that it's just he's looking at him like, oh, here we go again, because he's bringing these bodies out of here.
And then he's driving down the road in this truck, and the woman keeps on falling over on him, and he's packing her into his house and laying her out on a chassis or whatever you call it.
I mean, this is literally like a horror movie. I've seen horror movies like this.
Yeah, exactly. And the song, you would not think that the video, which I love Tom Petty's videos. I mean, he's got some of the most creative videos anyway. But he's like walking around contemplating, I guess, what he's going to do next. And he's got her dressed up and pretending she's alive.
It's really cool how Tom Petty had like a relationship with different celebrities in Hollywood too, to be in his videos. Like Kim Basinger's in this one, and then like another one of his videos, Into the Great Wide Open, features Johnny Depp. Now
I love this scene where he's got all the candles and he's like, I read an interview with Kim Basinger, or however you say her name, and she said that she was just so thrilled whenever he had called her up to do this role, because she just loved Tom Petty so much that she didn't care what the role was. So she said when she went to do this, she just had to give herself, just to play dead all the time. And she said it was so hard doing that. But the house.
That's what I was going to say. That shot of the house when they first showed it, that's probably my favorite part of the video, because it just reminds me of something from Tim Burton or the Beetlejuice house.
It does remind me of the Beetlejuice house.
Exactly.
And a little bit like Psycho in a way.
As well.
This gives Psycho vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think? I mean, it's a totally different thing, but it gives those vibes. And he takes her to the ocean and drops her in, and he's walking away, and it shows a shot of him up on the cliff with the birds, and then it shows her just slowly rising to the top of the water, and her eyes open up. And I always love that part. But I think that he went well and did the right thing by choosing her, because I think she was a really good, even though she didn't do anything, I think she was a good choice for the role. Don't you guys think?
She was I was going to say she's the best looking corpse I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think she's an excellent choice. I mean, because I love her. I mean, especially as Vicky Vale in the original Tim Burton's Batman, and she does a really good job. I don't know if Dana's ever seen it, and I'm not sure if you've ever seen it actually either, Candace. But the movie 8 Mile with Eminem. She plays Eminem's mom in that movie. She does a great job in that one.
I think I've seen bits and pieces of 8 Mile, but I've never watched it all the way through.
I love it. It's great. I'm not big into like rap and stuff as much as I used to be when I was younger, but I still love Eminem, and I think, and he was surprised. I think that was his first like movie role. He was a great actor in that. But what I wanted to say about this video was that there at the end, like, it's kind of confusing. I'm still, I've seen this video a few times now, and I'm still trying to figure out like what exactly he was doing with her. And like, one of the theories that I've came up with is that, like you said earlier in the video, when the guy looks at him like he knows he's done this before. And then at the end of the video, when she's in the water and she floats up and her eyes open, I see this as kind of like some kind of experiment he's been doing where he's bringing these people back to life.
That's a good way of looking at it. I never thought about it like that, but I think Dana would agree. That's what makes a good video, is your interpretation of it. And one that leaves open ends like that, to be able to look at it and say, hey, this is what I think that this is about. Because the song, you would not think that the video would be what it is. I think
I always, and this is going to be a little bit morbid, but even when I listen to the song without viewing the video, I got a sense that the woman that he's talking about, even in the song, committed suicide.
That's a good way of looking at it too. I've never looked at it that way. I'm loving to see. That's why this is a good idea to do this, because it's opening my eyes to different views of how people interpret songs and videos. Because I've never thought of it that way. The way that I see it is more, I guess, juvenile. I guess I see it more as like the singer, experimenting with Mary Jane, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a good way to look at it too, because basically that's, before I'd ever seen the video, that's the way I always interpreted the song. But looking at the song with the video, now that I've seen it a few times, it's like it gives me different ideas. Like also kind of horror, based, like what's going on, everything, the environment of the video. And it's almost, and even like with the house and everything, it's very, horror, based. It looks like I said, it was like Tim Burton or something, like the Beetlejuice house, and everything like I said before, like it's as if he's like maybe doing an experiment to bring these people back to life. That brought my thought process to maybe this is like an interpretation of Dr. Frankenstein. So I don't know. I mean, you could really, like you said, you could interpret it in many ways, and that's the best thing about it,
The guy that Tom Petty is portraying is definitely a creepy kind of guy. I mean, to me, it's very, even though it's a totally different concept and stuff, very Norman Batesy. It's just, the creep factor. It's like if Norman Bates would have gotten a job at a morgue, and and that's possibly something that he would have done. You know, that's just the way that I see it, and it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite Tom Petty songs, but it's one of my favorite videos of all time. I've always loved the video.
Also, kind of reminds you of Herbert West, Reanimator.
Yeah, yeah. I guess.
And also, don't go in the house without the burning
Yeah.
of the corpses, but the whole bringing the women back to a creepy old house and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many things that you could interpret it to be, the song and the video. But, you know, unlike the last song that we did, which was the Eddie Money song, that one was more of an upbeat song. This one isn't really an upbeat song. It is, but it's more of a kind of laid back type song. So, I mean, it's still surprising in the way that the video was made. I mean, Tom Petty is, like I said, known for his kind of wild videos. But I don't know. There's just something about this one. I think that it would have made a good like movie. You know,
The story, yeah, definitely. I think that's one. You know, it's one of his most popular songs too. And even my friend Ben Fugit, he has a band called Ben Fugit and the Burning Trash Band, and they do like old school like honky tonk type music, and they always cover that song every show they do. So yeah, it's a very popular song.
Well, the video it had won the MTV Video Music Award in '94, so it was a very popular video. I mean, it I remember the first time I seen it as a little kid. Maybe not been the first time, but one of the first times that I had seen it. I just was like drawn to it, and I always looked for it whenever it would come on, TV, because I was like, that's so spooky, and when we listen to Tom Petty all the time, he was like one of the artists that we always listen to. Like I said, we had that greatest hits album, and my parents, it barely left the tape deck out in the car, So, but yeah, I don't know. To me, it's just one of the greatest videos of all time. I don't
It's
know.
very the video and the song are very haunting. They're atmospheric, and I think that's why it feels like it should have been a movie.
Yeah,
because both the song and the video are atmospheric. They're cinematic. It would lend itself to being made into a movie.
And, in the last episode with the Eddie Money, I asked, would you have liked to have seen Eddie Money in a horror film? And I think Chris and CJ was like, no, I don't think I would like to see him in a horror film. But Tom Petty, I think the answer may be different. What do you guys think? Would you have liked to see him in a horror film?
Yeah, I think he would do a great job, because I don't think Eddie Money's has like great acting skills. But Tom Petty does, like, and because in that video we watched with Eddie Money, I mean, it's kind of like a goofy the way he portrays himself in that video, and that's fine. People can be goofy and be in movies and stuff too, but as far as like a horror film, if I'm taking it serious, like I could see Tom Petty doing that.
Yeah.
Because he already showed that he does have some acting skills when he did the voice of Lucky on King of the Hill. You don't see him, but you also see his acting skills in these music videos. Where he's at Morgan and stuff. It's very. I mean, he's no different from a lot of these like B movie actors that are in a ton of horror films, and not to discredit their acting skills, because a lot of B movie actors are really good actors.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could definitely see Tom Petty doing a movie. I mean, not now, of course, but back if he was ever had that option, I would love to see that.
Yeah, he's one of my biggest regrets, missing out on seeing him live. He was somebody.
Yeah, I didn't get to see him live either.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, because he came around, but just like a lot of people, you put it off thinking that you're going to get another chance to see them, and then something happens, and then there they go. So yeah,
Yeah.
one of my biggest regrets. Because I think he kind of died kind of suddenly. It
Yeah.
wasn't something that was like a long illness or anything like that. But um,
I've had a lot of experiences like that where I had opportunity after opportunity to meet like celebrity guests at like conventions,
yeah,
and I would look at a lot of them like, well, I'm gonna get so and so this weekend, and that person does a lot of conventions anyway. I see them in a lot of conventions, so I'll get them somewhere down the line. And I did that like over the course of like three different conventions where I saw David Hess
yeah,
at these conventions. And then when he passed away, I was like, oh no, I never went and met him.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
I did. Fortunately, I did get to meet David Hess. Speaking of him, like years and years ago,
mhm.
the first convention I ever went to before I knew any of the people I know now. So I was just going to a convention, and he was very nice and in definite contrast to the characters he played. He
Yeah,
was very nice. He was reserved. He was
yeah,
polite. All of that, and I just really I treasured that moment I got to meet him. And my mom was like, "Why do you want to meet him?" Because she knew what movies he was in. She'd seen him in Last House on the Left, and I said, "But mom, you got to separate the
yeah,
characters they play from the actual
absolutely.
person."
yeah. It's hard to sometimes, especially when you're not somebody who goes to conventions and have met people who
Mhm.
play really horrible characters, and you come to find out that they're great people.
Yeah,
Because I think I kind of had that kind of mindset before going to conventions and stuff. I was kind of like, but in your mind, that they're probably not these horrible people, but it's sometimes hard to separate
yeah.
unless you go to that environment and get to meet these people. And David Hess definitely seemed like a nice person.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah,
But
anybody who got to meet him is lucky, I'd say.
on the other hand, though, there can be some pe- celebrities that play really good characters in movies, but then when you meet them
Oh
at a
yeah,
convention, they're like the worst people ever. They're rude and don't
yeah,
want to fool with you, even though that's what they're being paid to do that weekend. They're
Yeah.
there because they to meet these fans, but that's another story for another time.
yeah,
Fortunately, I haven't ran into that, just underwhelming experiences,
yeah.
but not really bad experiences.
Well, that's good. I mean,
Mhm,
it still stinks whenever you have an underwhelming experience too,
mhm.
though, especially somebody that you really was looking forward to seeing.
Yeah.
Because I've had those as well. And I've met somebody had an underwhelming experience, and then met them again and had an amazing experience. And
That's
I've met,
what that's what happened with me and Ted Raimi. Even though it was quick whenever I got the photo up, he was not mean to me in any way the first time I met him. It seemed like he may have been distracted by something or tired and he seemed more
Mhm.
on his game when I was getting the picture taken with him.
well, then we had an amazing first uh, meeting, and I think it was his very first convention that he had done. Danny Hicks.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I
The first
noticed
time
that.
we met him, he went over like, he was overtly nice and overtly, like, involved, and he was, like, joking around with me and Chris and doing everything, but the next time that we seen him, he was one of the rudest people.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
he was
so
so
strange because
rude. I mean, literally, Dana, like, mean rude.
yeah, it was
Mhm.
very strange. I didn't
I don't know
understand
what
that
happened. I don't know.
because
I mean,
I
everybody
remember that second time we were going to meet him,
we were
he was
excited.
getting ready to go on his lunch break or something like that. But because we had just came up there right as he was getting ready to leave, and I don't know, he already seemed frustrated for some reason
Yeah.
anyway, and it was just yeah, it was a very weird experience, and but I hate to say anything bad now that he's passed away, and
Well, I mean, everybody's
but
entitled to bad times. I'm sure people have come up to me and I've seen really rude before. You know what I mean?
'cause I
Everybody
love
is.
Danny, especially in Evil Dead 2. He's just awesome in that movie.
Who knows what had happened to him to make him, I tell these stories. I'm not sitting and trying to tell, bad things about people. It's just sometimes experiences aren't what you think of them. But any last thoughts on this video or Tom Petty or anything like that? Dana, do you have any last thoughts?
Tom Petty's awesome. That video is awesome. If you ain't seen it, you need to go see it.
I agree. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, this is probably my second favorite Tom Petty video. It's out there. Of course, you know what my favorite one is, and that's Don't Come Around Here No
The
More.
one
That's
that
the one
creeps
that
Candace out.
that's the one that you're reluctant to watch.
If Dana agrees to come on it,
I will come on if you'll watch it again. But I'm not responsible for any nightmares she may have after watching it.
I mean, even if it comes on the radio, like one note from it, I'll have to explain it whenever we do
she just hears the song, she gets a mental image of the video because she knows what's happening in the video, and just starts just like, no, I can't. I can't do it.
But the thing is it all boils down to a really creepy Alice in Wonderland video that I was subject to seeing as a kid. So I blame that, and I'll explain that if we do it, and I'll probably do it because I think that it would make a good video, because I mean it is a surprising song to a surprising video, so I think it would work out. But anything that you guys want to add, what you're doing, what you got going on, Dana?
Well, I got something in about 30 minutes. Seductive Poison, The Resurgence. I'm finally doing Bloody Birthday, Bloody Moon, and Blowout. I'm finally going to review those dang movies. So,
what about you, Chris? Anything you want to?
Well, I'm doing that string with Dana here in about 30 minutes.
Well, by the time this video comes out, it'll already be on there. So go to Evil Dead Chicks page, and if you've not subscribed to her, subscribe to her. Give her the thumbs up. Go over there and watch them. She's got plenty of stuff.
Help get me to 1,000 subscribers. I'll do a Evil Dead cosplay of Cheryl from the Evil Dead. I promised TJ I would do that.
And I'll still stick to that if you want me to stick to the Mrs. Roper thing.
Yeah, sure.
Chris said, "Don't be Mrs. Roper." I said,
"That's such a random character."
That's cool though.
Dana likes Three's Company, don't you, Dana?
I do. I love Three's Company.
I love Three's Company.
You know what made me think of that though is they do these like Mrs. Roper dashes or something like that, where all these people get together, dress up like Mrs. Roper, and like do these like races, or walks or something like that. And
I've never heard of that.
That's the coolest thing that I've ever seen, because who doesn't want to look like Mrs. Roper? That.
Well, Chris could come on there and be Mr. Roper. That would be.
I'll do that. Now I'll bring my dad on here, and he can be Mr. Furley.
Oh my gosh, yes. He'd make the perfect one. Yeah.
So if I can get to 1,000 subscribers, we'll have a whole bunch of cosplay going on.
Dana have all 10 like screens on with everybody just dressed up as different random characters.
That would be awesome. If we could do that.
Different characters. But guys, I want to thank you all for coming on here and joining me and doing this with me. I've had a lot of fun. Dana, you're welcome on any one of these that we do. Whatever we do, you're always welcome.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to, when you do that next Tom Petty one. Now, Candace, I'm holding you to it. I said I'd be on here.
I'll let you know when we do it. I promise I will. But guys, I guess we're going to go ahead and peace out of here. If you've not given us a subscribe or a thumbs up, go ahead and do so. I want to thank everybody for watching us on YouTube, for listening to us on Spotify. It's been really fun. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.